Hey guys, this is FPLTIPS and welcome back to another FPL live stream. Hi Varun, hi Shreyas, and hi Ajat. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me clearly, and also let me know if the new mic setup is clear enough. And is it better than the previous one? Varun says 9 days to go. Okay, so we are good to go. Is it better than the previous one? I just tried upgrading my mic setup a bit because there's a lot of complaints that the voice is a bit patchy and you guys couldn't hear a lot of it. So I've tried my best. Hi Megdeep. Okay, so we'll start. This is not my final draft. I just made a couple of changes before coming onto the live stream. So don't worry, this is not my draft. I will make changes on it because clearly we need to have Taylor in there. So that's one transfer we're gonna do. So don't worry. You can start putting in your questions. There's no guest in tonight's live stream. We'll have a guest on the weekend, so no worries. Thank you, Varun. We just hit 7,000 on Instagram for the people who don't know. Okay, so Varun says he's going to play wildcard in game week 3. His team is McCarthy, Thomas, Justin, Burt, and Mitchell, Aubameyang, Sun, Salah, ASM, Kane, Adams, and Vardy. That's very good attacking team, to be honest. I really want to discuss Thomas and Justin. I think we're losing on to those prospects because the transfers Leicester is planning. They're actually going for the Atlanta fullbacks, both of them. So there's a possible case that both Justin and Thomas lose their places. So that's something that's worrying me, and I might just ditch Justin for Taylor, and then we'll also ditch Egan probably for Dyer and Doherty altogether. So we'll see how it goes up. Thanks, Shreya. So okay, yeah. Varun says again, game week 3 is best for wildcard. I might actually contradict. I might just extend it to about game week 6. There's a possibility you would want to extend it to game week 6. We'll discuss it. Also, the 4.5 slot is again getting tough and tougher because Gordon might just lose his place as well. Allen is all done for Everton. James is going to be done in the next 48 hours. And also, Dukure will be done in the next 48 to 72 hours. So that just completely removes the possibility of Gordon playing unless and until someone gets injured. So I think maybe investing and saving somewhere zero point 0.5 million and investing Gordon to Suchek will be a good move. Make says best United player to get in game week 2. I think depending on your formation, if you're going for someone like Aubameyang to or Son to a United player, go for Bruno. Without a doubt, go for Bruno. But I think in my case, I'm going to go Inks to Martial as an upgrade because Martial will keep getting on those chances and he'll get in closer with the midfield he has now to support him. So I think Inks to Martial is something I'm looking at. Those are the two positions you can look at. So Bruno and Martial in each position respectively. ZH or Havertz? I would go for ZH. I'm not sure if Havertz would. I mean, I'm sure he'll adapt, but not sure of his price. ZH is cheap. In fact, even if you have a choice, go for Pulisic if he's fit. I think Pulisic will outscore both ZH and Havertz. Saliba might lose his position as well to, I think, the new signing Gabriel. I'm not sure if both of them will play together or one of them will play. Mostly one of them will play. So you'll have to wait and watch Saliba. Don't put him in your team in the first game week. That's one of the recommendations. But either way, they're just zero point 0.5 million apart. So if even Gabriel is starting, I think a 5 million defender for Arsenal with their defensive strategies right now is okay. But even the easy fixtures like Fulham, I think they'll concede. So that's something you want to take a note on. Yes, Suchek COVID. I posted on Instagram that he is quarantine. I think he'll eventually get recovered from it, but might miss the first game week. Well, it's not much of a problem to me because I was never planning on to playing him. And again, then he has the tough fixtures, so it's not going to be a problem until game week 6. But hopefully, he'll recover fast and well. Son, Kane, or both? I would go for Kane because of Doherty. Doherty is going to put in a lot of crosses in for Kane, and Kane is definitely going to finish some of them. I don't see Doherty getting into the box a lot. I think with the Mourinho setup, he's going to put in a lot of crosses in rather. He's going to be wide on the wing, and I think he'll put in a lot of crosses. So Kane on the header prospect is really good. if someone is going for Tottenham midfield, Son is good, but Ali is better. I feel Ali will have a better impact. He'll play in the number 10 role over Lo Celso. So there is a chance that people might shift from Son to Ali. Even I might shift Son to Ali. But to be safe enough, I'm going for Son for the first couple of game weeks. Gerard says he's tested negative, but I think he's in quarantine. He'll miss the Nations League Cup, I think, but he'll eventually get fit. Might as well feature in game week 1, but depends on the training pattern because teams usually like their players to train a bit with them and then feature in the game week. Che Adams or Mitrovic for the first 2 game weeks. I think Fulham on actually not Fulham. Mitrovic on paper looks exceptionally good with his scoring record and everything. We have posted a detailed post on Instagram. I hope you guys liked it. We try something different with the short pattern and everything. But to be honest, I think it's a trap. I would actually go for Che Adams plus Ings because Southampton still have a good run of fixtures after game week 1. And Ings to Marshall seems like a very obvious move to my team. So then I have the backup of going Ings to Marshall and then still have a Southampton player in terms of Che Adams. And then I could even capitalize on those fixtures because Southampton have been attacking really good. If you look their underlying stats, in terms of shots, I think they're fifth, and in terms of big chances, they're seventh. So you want to own a Southampton player. WordPress and Armstrong are good options. You can go for them as well. But having an attacker who's taking 29 shots out of 38 in the box, I think you want to go for him. With Fulham against Arsenal, I don't see them scoring a lot. And their first game is again. I think the second game is someone else. The second game is against Leeds. Leeds is a very defensive setup team, and it's just like Sheffield United. So I don't see them scoring against Sheffield United a lot of goals. So you might think that they have good fixtures, but it's not really the case. Only Aston Villa, in my opinion, is a very good fixture for Mitrovic. I see him scoring there, and even West Brom and West Ham. Bradley says, "Will you do another live after the international games?" We usually do 2 live streams each week, so don't worry. We'll have a live on the weekend with a special guest probably. So if you have to leave early or you miss out on this, don't worry. Join on the next stream. Yes, yes, I will hold my wildcard to the last game week. I think unless I have a terrible start. I think if you have the players who are performing and in form, then you don't need to use your wildcard. But there are certain set of players who are performing exceptionally well, and you want to bring them in. Then I don't think there's a problem in investing your wildcard in the early stages of the game. Rishit says, "What about City and United players? Should we bench?" To be honest, I think don't bench them. If you have the funds, get in Obama and get in Salah. After game week 1, you can go to Bruno or Marshall, depending on how Crystal defend. If Crystal look awful, directly switch to one of your players to United asset in game week 2. And for the City assets, I think you can hold on to game week 3 and then bring them. Will Adam start? Yes, he's expected to start alongside Ings. Thoughts on Vardy for game week 1 and 2, Vardy or Ings? Actually, Leicester haven't scored a goal in the friendlies they've played till now. I think there's one friendly left before the actual Premier League starts. So that's something that's worrying me because in friendlies you tend to score a lot of goals. Same goes with Newcastle. They lost to 5-1 to Middlesbrough, I think. Only Saint Maximin scored a goal, but again, you're not good at attacking as a team. That's something that's concerning me a lot. With Vardy, I would not recommend to invest 10.5. I think he's 10.5 million for an attacker, especially with the likes of Jimenez, Kane, Werner, Ings, Martial. Go for one of them. Do not get Vardy in the very start because once he gets his form, you know he's going to sustain that form. So once you have that foolproof check that he's going to play well, then you can start bringing him in. Yes, I think Werner in game week 1 is good against Brighton. Is really good, and then Werner to Marshall is a very good choice as well for game week 2. I'm not planning to bring in Bruno and Marshall, but I'm planning to bring Marshall in game week 2. I have what about zero point 0.5 at the moment. So with this zero point 0.5 as well, I can go into Marshall right at the moment. With my transfers that I have planned, I think I still might have zero point 0.1 or 0.1.5 in the bank. So I'm actually saving it for 2 transfers. I'll discuss them at the in a while, but I think Inks to Marshall with zero point 0.5 in the bank is the perfect game week 2 move. That is like the most optimal game week move I'm thinking at the moment. Why no Liverpool defense? I want Trent. I might get Gomez at the moment, but if you look at the fixtures, trust me, they're not that great. Leeds, tough. Chelsea will score. Arsenal likely to score. Aston Villa, yes, they won't. They will keep a clean sheet there. Everton with their midfield right now, they will eventually also score. So up till game week 6, it's kind of mixed fixtures. You're not expecting a lot of clean sheets. At max, I think two. So for two clean sheets, spending 7.5 on a player, I think it's a bit too absurd, especially in the start. So I think I can capitalize there by investing the extra money in Tottenham players, probably in the attack. And then once I play my wild card around game week 6 or 8, I can bring back in the likes of Trent or Robertson depending on the form. Yes, Sharma, same, exactly the same. I might get Gomez. I'm not saying that I'm not going to get Gomez, but definitely not Trent because of the price. I'll wait for it. Once they have the good run of fixtures about after game week 6, I'll definitely bring him. Frontline is Kane, Ings, and Werner. Game week 2, Werner to Marshall. That looks like a very good frontline, Varun. Um, Good to stick on to. I think your midfield would be some like Suchek, Saint Maximin, Ward-Prowse with Salah and Aubameyang. So that's a good midfield as well. Here it says I have 8 million slot open. Options are Pepe, Ali, Ziyech. I'm leaning towards Pepe as their first two fixtures. I think Pepe might not get that role as well. Easily also without Pepe, Arteta has been playing without Pepe a lot, and Arsenal have been performing really good without Pepe. So there's not guarantee minute for him. I would actually go for Ziyech or Ali if possible. Ali also has a good fixture in the first two fixtures are good in half. So I would actually go for Ali or Ziyech for the first two game weeks over Pepe. Maybe Willian if you know he's starting, but again, I'm not that sure if Arsenal are going to bang 4 or 5 goals in the first two game weeks combined. Maxima or Kita? I'd go for Maxima. I'm not sure if Kita will get minutes as you saw in the community sheet as well. He was benched and Milner was preferred over him. So that clearly shows us that Klopp is not that satisfied or maybe he's not that convinced that Kita should start and get more minutes. So that might be something. And with Henderson back, I think he'll again get less minutes. So probably Saint Maxima. Sun or Ings, that's two different positions because they have two sets of different. They're two different players. They're two different positions and two different fixtures. Um, I think Ings is likely to score more than Sun, but then again, if you want to invest in Tottenham assets, Sun is a good option. Yeah, my midfield is going to change. Don't worry, Kiran. I think there's only one change that I'm going to do in my midfield. Is going to be Gordon to Suchek for sure. Because I think Gordon won't get even he'll get maximum substitution minutes around 50 30, 20 minutes. And I would probably have Suchek in crucial games where I can play him and he probably can get a header or something like that. Okay, so we'll talk about the transfers I've been planning. So Justin is out. Egan, I'm not sure. Doherty to Dyer is probably what I'm thinking. If I take out Egan, I'm going to bring in Gomez. So that's something I've planned. We'll go to defenders. We'll actually go to Burnley straight away. And Taylor. Hope you guys have seen the post where I posted that when you pair up Taylor and Vinagre, the Wolves and Burnley defenders, you only play against the top six twice. So that's something you want to look at and get in those players because they're cheap. They're just 9 million in combination. And I think when you have such a rotation pair in front of you, want to capitalize on it. Ali or Son, Varun says, I'm leaning towards Son because I know he's a proven player and his record against the teams he plays in the next first few 4 game weeks, he scored a lot of goals there. But if Ali is a regular starter, he's fit, and if he looks good in game week 1 or 2, I think Ali will eventually play in the more centralized area. And we've seen he plays along Kane in the box as well. So you want to go for Ali, he's 1 million cheaper as well. So eventually, if I have choice, if I play wildcard or something like that, and I had to bring in Ali or Son, I would go for Ali. But right now, it seems like a big risk. What's my take on Man United new signing Donny? I'm not sure where they'll play him, because there's a lot of positions he can adapt to, and then where will Pogba play? So I'm not sure how they'll form up, but it's a good signing. Eventually, very good for Bruno because Van de Beek has earned the most number of penalties I think in his league, and we know Bruno he likes the penalties a lot. So yeah, it's gonna be a good combination. All Stars club has joined us. Saka and Saint, in my opinion, are necessary, and as transfer window closes 5th October, I'd suggest to preserve the wildcard to double game week in future. I think the double game week is uncertain at the moment, but that's a very good point where he says that with the window closing around October 5th, I think you want to save your wildcard. I'm not sure when October 5th, which game week is October 5th. It's game week 5. So yeah, you it's game week 4 actually. So yeah, that's the plan. I think game week 6 is optimal according to me. But then again, if you team you're setting up your team for the first 3 game weeks and playing wildcard, there's nothing wrong in it because you get your time enough to see the players how they're performing, and then you know which players are going to perform well in the set of fixtures they have. Jezat says the thing with Spurs, in my opinion, is that they have Europa qualifiers and they don't have the squad depth. I think they have a decent squad depth to play their second team altogether for the qualifiers. Maybe that's not a big issue. Anyways, you've seen that they can cope up with it, except their attack. I think the defense is decent and they can cope up with their attack. Does get tired when they have clustered fixtures. Okay, so we'll get the Tottenham asset. I'm going for Dyer because I think he'll start. He might get into the midfield as well and possibly a corner goal for him. So Dyer, Son, and I'll upgrade Gordon to Suchek. I think I'll just go directly to West Ham. There's my man. I would have gone for Bowen. I think Bowen will perform really well, but his price is a bit odd. He's 6.5. That's another constraint that comes into play. ASM played striker in friendly and Gale joined and Joe Linton. I think Joe Linton is back in training, so he'll be fit until up on the game week, I think. Bertrand, I think Kyle Walker Peter does not play that ahead. Bertrand is known to put in a lot of crosses as well, so maybe Bertrand. Another thing, another strategy that I'm planning and I want to get in somehow. At the moment, my striker is going to be Southampton's J Adams. I'm not going for Mitrovic, but another striker that I might want to save money and somehow get in is Dominic Calvert-Lewin from Everton. I think with the fixture run they have and with the signings in the midfield, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is bound to have a good start to the season. I mean, he had a lot of chances. He does get a lot of shots, but he was somewhere lacking the delivery from Sigurdsson and probably Theo Walcott and everyone. But now with the likes of Allen and James Rodriguez, I think that's fulfilled, and with the playing style that Ancelotti has, I think it will favor him. So you can see actually Dominic Calvert-Lewin scoring a lot of goals this season. Double game week after game week 17. Yo, those are the game weeks which are definitely defined, which is blank game week 18 and double game week 19. I think the double game week that All Stars Club mentioned was the double game week which will comprise of the United and City fixture. So we do not know when that fixture will be played. But yeah, double game week 19 is almost confirmed. Blank game week 18 is definitely going to happen. Exactly. I think they might even switch to a 4-4-2 where the way he played in Napoli, where he has a strong four midfield, uh, probably play James at the wide or maybe play a 4-3-2-1 with Dominic Calvert-Lewin up the top and Richarlison supporting them. There's a high chance that they score a lot of goals. But in this team, I'm just falling short of a couple of million, I think 1 million to go upgrade from Adams to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That's something I wanted to do in game week 2 alongside Inks to Marshall. That's something I have to figure out. If I remove Gomez, if I go for a 4.5 defender, could be anyone, could be Justin in case he's starting, or maybe Thomas. Then I have the ability, then I have the money to go Adams to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Inks to Marshall. Other thing I can do is I can downgrade Gomez to Sheffield United defender, which is Egan, Suchek to Gordon, and then Adams to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Inks to Marshall. Yes, even I'm backing Marshall to have a great season. He has a lot of shots in the box, and he's seen that with the kind of midfield and delivery that United are having right now, Marshall will definitely benefit from it. So, okay, discussing my team, the strategy that I'm going at the moment is this is most likely the setup I'll have. Game week 2, Ings to Marshall for sure. That's one transfer done there. The second transfer in game week 3 would be Aubameyang to De Bruyne, or maybe game week 4, depending on how City play. So Aubameyang to De Bruyne is for sure. Then I get the point 5 I want. Possibly Che Adams to Dominic Calvert-Lewin in game week 2 for a hit. I think the fixtures they have after game week 2 are pretty good. So if you want an Everton player from game week 2 to 5, I think this is the most optimal time to take a hit and then they'll cover. West Brom, Crystal, Brighton. They have three good fixtures. Liverpool, I know it's a tough fixture, but it's a derby. Don't forget that derbies are unpredictable. And then they have Southampton. So five decent fixtures to be honest, and three amazing fixtures in totality. I meant. And then they have a rough patch of fixtures. Then you can downgrade again to someone like Wood or Barnes. I think they have a good run of fixtures after game week 6. Yes. So they have a decent run of fixtures after game week 6. Chelsea, Brighton, Crystal, Everton, Aston Villa, Leeds, Sheffield, Fulham. This is mostly going to be 1-0, 1-0, 1-0-0, something like that for Burnley. What will you do if Oba is on fire in the first two game weeks? If he's on fire, then I'm not telling him, that's for sure. Because if a player is on fire, you can't just leave and just explain yourself that no, De Bruyne is great, he'll find his form. He'll find his form, but the player is in form. So I think I stick to that theory that if a player is in form, you don't remove him from your team. And form over fixture for me always. Ings versus Tottenham in game week 2, that's a decent fixture. I think it's a tricky fixture because with Mourinho, I think they're going to set up defensively really strong this season. And you know you have the Mourinho second season syndrome as well, where Mourinho does great in the second season. I think, and that's what he tried to do in the first season as well. Defensively improve, which now at Doherty will increase. And he tried to get more defensive setups. And to score past against them is not going to be easy. Last season, if I remember, Ings scored that brilliant goal where I think he dribbled past two defenders, did some trick in the box and shot. So that was a great finish. But you don't finish the same way you did last season in all games. It's going to be tough. Boris says, is it a good idea to play Werner, Kane, Vardy in the first two game weeks? I would recommend not Vardy. We discussed this in the stream earlier. Kane plus Werner is a very good combination for the first three game weeks or two game weeks. Kiran says, will Davies start at Spurs? Yes, they don't have a proper left back. I think Davies is nailed. Probably they could line up something like Davies, Dyer, Toby, and Doherty. Maybe a back four. If they switch to a back three, then we could see Dyer, Davis and Sanchez, and Toby with Davies and Doherty up in the five midfield. If that happens, then Doherty as a prospect will really increase because he's then going to capitalize the most out of it. So if in the first two game weeks I have Werner playing Liverpool and Ings playing Tottenham, what do I do? Can't take a hit. I would actually back Werner playing Liverpool because we've seen the signings that Chelsea have made. We've seen that Chelsea is a big club. It's not like they don't score past Liverpool. Even in the last match, they was like 5-2 or 4-2. Maybe 5-3. I'm not sure of the score line. But we've seen that they score goals. So that's not the case. And with Ziyech and Havertz supplying the ball and delivering the ball to Werner, and Werner is also going to be on penalties, I think Werner is a better prospect overall. Also, I think without Henderson, the Liverpool defense tends to leak a lot of goals. This is something I've observed. With Trent back again, it's going to be tough for him to come back and defend all together, playing on the wing. That usually happens. Robertson, on the other hand, defense are much better than Trent. But with Trent back again, that's going to be the case. The left flank for the opposite team is going to be weak, or is going to be open, and then they're going to exploit that area. Will Doherty's move to Spurs affect him or help him? I think it's a 50-50 because if you see at his attacking returns might decrease because it depends on the formation Mourinho at. So mostly it's going to be 4-3-3 where Doherty is a back in the back four on the right back position. So he'll not get the freedom to get into the box, take a lot of shots. He'll be pushed wide on the wide line on the wings, and then he'll have to cross in the ball. So that's how Mourinho usually plays with a lot of crossing, and that's how his game is going to change right now. It's probably bit slightly negative if you compare it to the attacking returns and attacking freedom he had in Wolves. 1 second, guys. I am not able to see your chat. be back. Formation. My formation, if you ask me, I'm going to play 3-4-3. Most season, I might switch to a 4-4-2 depending on the uh, f- fixtures. Might as well go Adams to Brewster if he's going to a good club, and then upgrade Dyer to Doherty, or definitely Gomez to Trent. Maybe Robertson over Trent, because I think the underlying stats of Robertson after the restart are better than Trent. No doubt that Trent is on free kicks and he'll get those opportunity. But if you ask me, goals, the goal chances or shots or key passes, Robertson is ahead of Trent. Goalkeeper 4.4, 4.54, defender 3 defenders into 4.5 and 2 into 4.4. Midfield Obasan Salah 4.5 and in Saint Maximan, and forward Werner Ings Kane. Shot by 1.5, don't know where to save. I think there's not much area where you can save, honestly. You actually cut down a lot of money. Probably Ings to Adams, that looks like a good saving option. Sun to Ali looks like a good saving option in my opinion. I think I would do the Ings to Adams move because that's more of a not drastic move. The other moves would be very drastic. Or maybe just Kane down, leave Kane for the start, or maybe Sun for the start altogether, and maybe go for someone like Barnes, take a chance on him, and then see how it goes ahead. Everton have good fixtures with Allen and James Rodriguez about to sign. Other forwards are must. Rahul Panchal, we talked about it. It's not a must. I think I'm planning to get in Dominic Calvert-Lewin because of the signings that Everton are making. Also, they have good fixtures from game week 2 to game week 5. Then they face Liverpool, and then they have another easy fixture. So yes, when they have a good run of fixtures, I'm actually can show it to you on my screen. The most optimal time to get them is game week 16, pros game week 16, where they have a patch of green, and then probably around game week 28. So yes, the signings will affect how Everton play. The prospects of Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin will increase. So let's see how it goes along the season. At the moment, I'm much more inclined to Dominic Calvert-Lewin than the strikers like Mitrovic or Adams. Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, I think I'll go for Calvert-Lewin because you save money. His heading ability is amazing, and he's more into the box than Richarlison. Richarlison is a guy who plays on the wings. He tries to dribble a lot, puts the ball into the box a couple of times. He's not the man who's just waiting for the ball to come in and score a goal. I think Calvert Lewin does that, and he'll probably make the most out of the deliveries given like players like Allen or James Rodriguez. Varun says thanks for the feedback. 1 million in the bank, continuing from the team above. Then Sun could become Rashford for game week 2, and I play Adams or Adams to Dominic Calvert-Lewin for game week 2. If you have the budget, I would actually want you to go from Adams to Dominic Calvert-Lewin if you're willing to take the hit, obviously. But if Adams looks great, then there's no need, I think. Personally, I would like to go and take the risk from Adams to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Always going to be a short-term move. If you're wildcarding in game week 3, Varun, as you discussed above, don't do that. I think it's going to be a waste of a hit for one game week. I think this season I'm going to try this as well. Where if I'm taking a hit, I think I'm going to give that particular player at least 4 game weeks to perform and repay me that hit. Uh, I usually, if people have followed, if some of you guys have already followed me for last season, I usually take a lot of hits, and I am not that bothered about how the outcome will be. I want to get a player, and I think he'll perform. Usually it goes well, but I think I'm going to give it more time this season. Take lesser hits probably, and if I take a hit eventually, I would give the player at least 4 game weeks to perform and repay the hit. I think that's a more strategical approach to the game, and probably will finish higher in ranks this season. Okay, guys, I had to discuss something amazing this that I've planned for you guys for this season. So, as I know, there are a couple of people who are regularly on the stream. I have Varun, Kiran, there's Yajat, there's Shreyas as well. So, I've planned something that we're gonna do a competition of predictions. If you've seen the Instagram page, we do a weekly game week prediction where FPL Tips posts their prediction, which are usually not close, but sometimes they're accurate as well. So we're going to do a competition where we have three admins. We have the core team members, basically Abhishek, Anirudh, and me. We are going to put out our predictions, and we're going to have a competition between us. But we're going to include your predictions as well. So what I was planning was that you guys in the midweek stream could give me your predictions for the matches, and then we could put those predictions, whatever the predictions most people think are going to be true, into that table, and we could have your predictions as well. So let me know if you guys find this idea nice or doable, and then we can take this forward. I will only take a hit if I'm going to captain the player and bring in. That's a very good strategy as well. If you're taking a hit, also think about captaining him. But and if you're captaining him, definitely the hit is worth it, I think. Varun says Fulham Arsenal 1-2 or to score. I think yeah, exactly. That's a template how it's going to happen. I'm going to put out. I'm going to say, let's say Fulham versus Arsenal. So everyone will give in their predictions. If I see a lot of 2-1, if I see a lot of 2-0, so we'll take the collective followers or subscribers prediction as 2-0, 2-1, and then that's how it's going to be like. So I think it's going to be a competitive thing, and it's going to be fun. If you guys like it, let me know in the chat. We could do this for the entire season. Otherwise, I think we're going to stick to probably bring in guests because we'll have no other option. But I like the subscriber part where you guys get to participate as well. Okay, so people are interested. At least I know that the regulars are definitely interested. For well, the people who join us later on will eventually also participate, so that's not a problem. Okay, so we'll definitely go ahead with this idea as well. Also on Saturday, I'm planning Saturday or Sunday. I'm planning to bring on another guest. Hope you guys. I have not taken the feedback on the stream, but hope you guys enjoyed the last guest stream. This time it's gonna be all about FPL. I think some of you guys might follow them on Instagram as well. They write blogs, and they write quite decent blogs to be honest. And we might try and get them on the stream. So hopefully the weekend is gonna be packed with another guest stream. Well, until then, we'll continue the streams and you guys could put in your questions. But anything we should watch in UEFA Nations League, I think if you are a supporter of any nation, you can watch Germany versus Spain. It's going to be a good match, probably. But otherwise, there's nothing to observe because the Nations League is entirely different. Players are generally not that serious. The formations are different. Their positions are different. The playing style is entirely different. So nothing to actually grasp from that Nations League. I think it's just a money making strategy where players are put forced into matches and more injuries, possible injuries, but nothing to take out from. Probably friendlies. There's going to be a Liverpool friendly on Sunday, I think, and Tottenham will play Watford in the coming days. So those are the two friendlies I'm looking for. Probably you guys should also keep a track of them. Cascane, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Cascane announced for Leicester. I think that's exactly what I was talking about. They're going for the Atlanta fullbacks as well. So, both of them. So I think Thomas and Justin, I think they're out for now for me because I don't see them starting if the signings happen. Do you think that Everton is a team that will concede this season? I think they'll concede this season. There's not a doubt. With Dukure, conceding, the number of goals they concede will decrease. I was going to say conceding, but yeah, the number of goals they concede will decrease because Dukure, I really fancy him as a central defensive midfielder. His work rate is amazing, and I've always picked him over the likes of any other Watford player if I had to. But yes, I do see them conceding a lot of goals. If you ask me where they'll finish, I'd probably say the top of the table at the moment, maybe top eight. But yeah, they're definitely into contention of the league, as in the top six contention, not the league contention. This stream is majorly was to check my mic setup because I was too eager to check in if it's good and great and should we continue with the mic setup. I'm trying to improve the video setup as well. We're planning to change the graphics all around and make it a better experience for you guys. So yeah, we'll probably include some other graphics like shorts or short map and try to put in there on the live stream as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys like the new mic setup. Ayush says Bundesliga fantasy tips. Bundesliga fantasy tips. We played Bundesliga last time. You can own center defensive midfielders in Bundesliga fantasy, and just pick the major players like Lewandowski or Bayern players. Just get them and you'll be good. I think that's it. You had Havertz, but he's gone. I think Sancho will go as well. The Sancho United talks are actually increasing and they're progressing as well. So Sancho is also gone. So you might just want to take Bayern players. Where will Chelsea finish your club? I think they'll finish in the top three for sure. Maybe top two. I am thinking top two. But if City signed Koulibaly, which is really, really close, I think, then the league is for City. Because with Koulibaly, they're not going to concede goals. And with that's the only area they're lacking, the defense part. So if that is fixed, City get the title again. And I think Chelsea will finish second over Liverpool, I think. Varun says rename this to EPL FPL uh, I'm not sure if that is a great thing or a bad thing, or is that, or if we should actually consider this. But thanks for the new name, EPL FPL tips. We actually talk about, a lot about Premier League, but that's a part of football. I mean, I'm not just here to talk about FPL. I mean, majorly it's about FPL, but sometimes we include Premier League talks, which also lead up to some kind of FPL because how a team is going to perform, overall team is performing, does impact all of the players as well. So yeah, there's not big inclusion to be honest. Messi, Kiran says Messi. I don't think Messi is going to come to Premier League. Wes Morgan 4.5. Again, I don't see him starting. If there is a chance of Justin starting in the back three, where if they switch to 3-5-2 or something like that. So Wes Morgan is not the one. I think Evans, Soyuncu, and probably Justin. So I think those are the players that will start if there is a back three. If there is a back four, then Soyuncu, Evans, and the fullbacks, obviously. I somehow want to get Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I'm just trying to figure out something that I can probably reduce. Maybe Sun to Ali. If that gives me a lot of money because that allows me to go Adams to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But that's something I feel like I'm jeopardizing my entire team for one player. I feel Leicester and Sheffield United will drop off massively this season. I think Leicester will drop off. I don't see Sheffield because they are very disciplined. That's the term I want to use. They're disciplined and they won't drop off. Leicester, I think, will definitely drop off. I don't see them coming in the top four this season as well. Oh, is Evans out? But then it's not a long term suspension, anyways, because then West Morgan will start the couple of first few game weeks, and I'm not sure if they have great fixes, anyways. I mean, they have decent, I think they have West Brom, but after that, Burnley, they have two good fixtures. They have West Brom and Burnley, and then they have City. Okay, decent prospect, to be honest. Then he misses 4 games. But then again, it's the strategies will work only for a player who's willing to play his wild card around game week 3 or 4. If you're not, then you want to have players which should play the entire season, obviously. If Keane starts, I have Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That will be amazing. But I'm not so keen that Keane will perform great because I've seen his gameplay. I was not that impressed, to be honest. I feel Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a better striker. So Varun has definitely planned his game around wildcard game week 3. I think I'm going to just stay back and observe the game for the first game weeks. Probably see how it's getting going on to, and if I feel there is a need to take a wildcard early around game week 4 or 5, I will. But I think if you guys can get in Dyer, I feel Dyer is a good option. Vinaga Taylor, I've already said it. Go for Mitchell over Ferguson because I know Mitchell is not going to play a lot, probably 2 or 3 game weeks until Patrick Van Holt is back. But I think even if he manages to play game week 1, that's all we need because we'll have 4 defenders. We'll definitely be playing after that, and probably Suchek over Gordon as well. So I think Dyer is a very good option in defense and Taylor and Vinagre. Ryan and McCarthy also have that combination where you have those. If you have those keepers, you only play against the top 6 for the rest of the season. But I do not promote that strategy because I think that it never works out too well. because you always have the thing, if you play McCarthy, there might be a case that Ryan might get 10 points and McCarthy will be on 1 or 2. You always have that constant dilemma which keeper to play. Just stick to one keeper and play him for the season, and it will be bad. It will be good. It will be bad. What's your game week? What's your rank goal this season? I think my goal is top 1K. If you ask my goal, yes, definitely 1K. We'll probably, obviously, it will not be that great, but why not? Let's try. If we get in the 1K, we'll also increase in subscribers. I'm using wildcard in game week 5, so I'm setting my team for the first 5 game weeks. I also usually do that. I set my game for the first 6 game weeks and make changes accordingly, because I think the first 6 game weeks you have a clear cut idea of how teams are performing. Boris says, any news on Pulisic? Is he good option initially? There's no news. I think he'll not be able to feature in the first 2 game weeks. That's what I think at the moment. Reading the situation, so I think you'll have to switch to ZH for the first 2 game weeks. Thoughts on COVID affecting the games? I think they're allowing people to even uh, get in the stands and stadiums. I think there is a cap on it, but they will eventually allow people as well. So the game will eventually come back, and I don't think with certain player getting affected from COVID will stop the league unless there's a massive outbreak. I think it will be good and it will continue to progress. My goal is my team ID in 200 or even 10. I think Varun's team ID was around 60, 70 if he messaged me just as soon as the game launched. So yeah, anything around 10. Actually, 10K is a good finish, to be honest. People consider it as a good, but I want to aim for that 1K. I would redundantly want to put efforts. And form, actually, even want to pull off a strategy to how to play this game. I mean, I'm figuring out a good strategy to play the game, and then we can use that each year. Also, we our team is actually working on a predictive model, which we after we make this year, we'll be testing it for the entire season. So if it works out well, next season we might have a predictive model for expected goals and shots and expected positions, assist, and everything of that sort. And you guys will eventually get the access to it as well. So hopefully it is completed, and then we can test it for the entire season. My best rank was 3762 in 16-17. I think I was not even playing in 16-17. I'm not sure. I might just have joined and just probably played random FPL. For the first 2 seasons, I was not even serious about FPL. I was just playing it because my friends asked me to. But then eventually I got interested in the game, and then now here we are. We have a channel, and I'm hosting a live stream about it. Okay, guys. So if you have some last questions, we could discuss then, and we could wrap this stream up. And then I'll see you guys on Saturday or Sunday, depending on whenever they're free. Are you doubling up on Southampton attack for the first game week? Yes, I think I am. I'll just confirm the transfers. So this is how my team is looking for game week 1. I think this is the exact setup I'm going for game week 1, except the captain. But this is how the team might look for game week 1. Sun will play the wing, Kane will play up front. 9 million may not be wise. It's not about the 9 million. I mean, there's not a lot of options out there, anyways. Ali, if he starts, if I have news against Watford, if he plays well, I might actually go for Ali over Sun, and then probably take that 1 million to upgrade Adams to Dominic Calvert in the game week 2. But let's see. I'm actually looking forward to the Liverpool and Tottenham friendly in the upcoming weekend. ASM or Southampton fellow, same price. I think I'm going for ASM. I already have 2 Southampton players, and if you want a Southampton player, go for Adams. He's zero point 0.5 more expensive, but then again, he'll have more shots and attempts as well. Boris says, suggestion: how about discussing the best teams on FPL Tips private league? Good and bad suggestion may help. I think we're gonna do this. We'll eventually. I think. the team of the week, the team that performs or is first in the league every week, we'll eventually evaluating his team in the uh, midweek stream, because we should know how he's performing anyways, and it's good to rate other people's team at times. So we'll do that on the stream in the midweek stream when the game starts. Yeah, this is going for ASM. Yes, it's Armstrong. The player you guys are talking about is Armstrong. I heavily support Armstrong if you want to go for Armstrong. But eventually, the prospect of Adams is looking way too good. His underlying stats are good, as discussed. So I might just shift from Armstrong to Adams, because it's just a point 0.5 shift. And if you're getting that many shots into the box and all of those chances alongside Ings, then it's worth it. Also, you've seen that if when the Southampton play two attackers, Ings is the one who drops back, and maybe Long or Adams gets those chances ahead. So I want to play Adams over Ings as well at times. Varun says €5 guys for personal team suggestions to FPL tips underscore underscore. Yes, guys, you can if you want, you can pay me. Also, guys, I forgot to put the link in the description. But if any one of you want to play fan team, DM me on Instagram. I'll give you the link, and you can register there for fan team. It's an official thing, and it's a reliable thing, and they have around 100,000 cash prize for probably the league or something like that. So you check it out if you want. It's a very good money league platform, because unofficial money leagues are, as you know, banned by Premier League or something like that. You can join fan team if you want to invest your money and earn money from fantasy Premier League. Is James was Sprout worth it? I would actually go Armstrong over him, uh, Adams over both of them. If top 70 get payout, I think then it's possible. 1% without, I think you'll eventually end in 1% if you just even follow the team I have and don't take hits. I think that's definitely enough to get in the top 70. I think we lagged behind around 50 or 60,000 ranks because of my hits last season. I analyzed my hit pattern and my whatever, how much my rank was impacted by the hits. So you just minimize your hits. Uh, you'll increase your rank by at least 50 60k. If I remember, I lost 92 points from hits. That's how much hits I take. 20 entry and 30 is cash out if you finish top 70k. That's a pretty decent and good scheme if you ask me. So, you guys, since there are not many questions left on FPL, anyways, we've discussed a lot of things. I think I'm planning to do a rate my team video as well. Probably another stream where I discuss every team and discuss their FPL prospects. But I think we might not have the time for that. So let's see how it goes. But nevertheless, it was a nice stream. It was good to have you guys back. Just the last question: do you like the streams I'm doing right now, which is one-to-one stream, or do you like to have guests more often? Varun says live stream. Should we do live streams after all the matches are done? Because then the live stream would be around 1 a.m. in the night in India. I wouldn't mind. I don't mind doing the streams because I'm generally awake by that time, but most people would not be. Sheffield United defense best option. Go for Egan or Ramsdale. Both 5 million. Don't pay more than 5 million for the Sheffield United defense. Thank you, Shreyas. It was good to have you too. Pre-matches 1v1 says Boris and Varun. Oh, preseason matches. Okay, we'll do a stream. We'll do a stream next week, same time around Wednesday or probably Tuesday if the matches are done by then, and then we'll do a deadline stream as well. So good to have you guys back. We'll wrap it up here. This is it for tonight. This is FPL Tips signing off. Cheers.